morning, good afternoon, good evening, my beautiful people, depending on where you're watching from. It is your girl again. So today I'm going to be sharing a true life story that happened somewhere. But before I dive into that, I'm using this opportunity to plead with parents out there. No matter how busy or how hardworking you are, please always make a time to communicate with your kids. Try to build that good relationship, that good rapport with your children so that they can always come up to you to talk to you whenever they are going through anything difficult. Okay? And also having that good communication with these children helps to prevent any form of idinum. So I'm going to keep this brief. I'm going to dive into the true life story. So it is about this family of three, the father, the mother, and the beautiful, intelligent, beautiful daughter that God gave to them. So this family, they relocated from a city to another city and thereby changing the school of the child. Okay? So both parents are career workers. They work really hard. They are not lazy people. But then they got to the city and they looked at their schedule. So they needed someone to pick the daughter up from school and watch their daughter. But then before then, they tried exploring other resources, after school programs and other stuff, or daycares, but then they discovered that most of these places were already filled. So they decided to go through this website, some kind of website, and they found a babysitter or a nanny for their daughter. So they interviewed the nanny. This nanny answered the question where, and they felt like, oh, this is going to be a good person for their child, right? So why the nanny started working, every time they had this family, they have a routine of when they come back from work, they always talk about what their day was like, what they went through at work and all that. Everything they go through, they discuss that during dinners. So the first day the nanny started working, and before then they actually went to the girls' school and they gave permission for the nanny to be able to pick up the child, right? So when they came home, they would ask their daughter, hey, how was everything? Every day when they're eating, they talk about, hey, what happened in school today? So the child would go explain everything, how she met new friends or what the teacher did, would tell the parents everything. So as the child kept doing that, and they would ask, what about the nanny? How are you doing with your babysitter or your nanny? And the child was like, well, so far she's good, but on this day, the nanny pulled over and was actually smoking inside the car while the child was there. So the child did express not liking that, but would not allow the parents to have a conversation with the nanny. So the parents were like, okay. So, and it kept going, and other days, according to this child, the child would tell the parents how the nanny would take her to pick her up from school. They don't come home straight. Would take her to grocery, would buy ice cream, buy things, and was actually gradually trying to groom the child to be calling her mommy. Okay? So this kept going on, and the child would come home and would tell the parents when they have discussion, hey, this is what's going on with me, right? So on this fateful day, according to the child, the nanny picked her up from school and did not go home straight. They stopped by on the grocery store and was shopping and doing all this bunch of buying things. So the child was like really tired, and according to the child did mention to the nanny like, hey, can we go home? So let's call the nanny Miss Toyin. Let's give the nanny a name, a nice name, Miss Toyin, right? So the child was like, hey, Miss Toyin, can you please take me home? I'm tired. Miss Toyin was like, well, I'm shopping. And he was like, well, please, I have to go do my homework. Can I go home? And so she kept calling her Miss Toyin, and that kind of pissed the nanny up because the nanny has been grooming her to call her mom. So the nanny was like, you need to stop calling me Miss Toyin. You need to call me mommy. And the child was like, no, I cannot call you mommy because I do have a mom at home. But I can call you Miss Toyin because that is what I call my teachers. I call them Miss, and I was told it was a form of respect. And the nanny was like, well, I am telling you, after I am older than your parents, so if you're going to be calling your parents mommy, you better be calling me mom. Ooh. So that didn't go down well with the nanny. On their way home, the nanny saw a trailer coming and was telling the child, what if I just run into that trailer and have you dead? So the child was like, so scared, and was like, I'm sorry. Why? The child doesn't want to die. So the nanny was like, yeah, I thought as much. So they went, and then they went home. So when they got home, as usual, the child would tell the parents everything, right? So the parents were like, okay, this is getting too much. Did the nanny actually say that to you? And the child was like, yeah. But the child pleaded with the mom, like, I don't want you to say anything, it's okay. But, and of course the child felt like she didn't want to stress the parents. So that kept going. And then the next time, one day, the nanny reached out to the parents, the mom of the child, via text message and was like, hey, I'll be stopping by at the post office today. I have something I want to ship. So the child was like, oh, okay. The mother was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Considering the fact that it is the same way home. So you can as well stop by, ship whatever you want to ship, and take the child home. So this nanny actually took the child to the post office and did ship what she wanted to ship, and then didn't go home with the child after that, and decided to take the child to go see her boyfriend in the motel. So, take note, the nanny never mentioned that to the parent of the child. So on getting to the motel, the little girl was like, uh-oh, this is a motel. Like, it's almost like a hotel, if you know what I'm talking about. This is a motel. And the nanny was like, yes, it's a motel. I am here to see my boyfriend. The child was like, what? If you're here to see your boyfriend, why not just take me home first before you go see your boyfriend? And the nanny was like, you need to stop talking. You're being disrespectful. And the little girl was like, but I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to go do my homework. And the nanny was like, well, I'm here to see my boyfriend. You need to wait. So the child refused to come down from the vehicle, and the nanny was like, I need you to come down from the vehicle. And the child was like, no, I'm not going to come down from the vehicle. So the nanny was like, well, you need to come down from the vehicle because she doesn't want anyone calling the cops that a little child is being left in the vehicle. So the child said, okay, and did follow the nanny. And came down from the vehicle. So the nanny was going upstairs to go see the boyfriend, and the child was like, she wasn't going to go. And the nanny grabbed the child on the hand and like, you need to come with me right now, and put the child. So the girl climbed up with the nanny, and then they got to the door. So the nanny knocked, and the boyfriend opened the door. The nanny was like, hey, you need to come in. And the little girl was like, no, I don't want to come inside. I want to stay outside. And the nanny was like, well, you cannot be standing outside. You cannot be standing outside. The girl said, no, I'm going to stay outside. I'm going to wait outside. So the nanny was like, why are you so stubborn? Why are you not listening? And the girl was like, no, I should be home and not in the motel. I'm not going to go in with you. So the nanny got upset and said, well, then the girl said, if you're going to force me, I'm going to scream and I'm going to yell because I'm going to stand outside and wait. So the nanny was like, you know what? Suit yourself. Well, shut the door on the girl. So while the girl was outside, the girl, according to the little girl, she waited for 30 minutes while she was on her uniform. So the nanny came out and then like, oh, we have to go. So they went. And before then, according to the little girl, the nanny would buy her ice cream and all that. And when she refuses to take the ice cream, the nanny gets really upset and like, you need to take it. You cannot be rejecting things from me. And the little girl would tell the nanny, well, my parents said I should not be taking things from people, and I should always learn to tell them thank you. So that is why I'm telling you thank you. And the nanny would tell the girl, well, your parents shouldn't be telling you that. Your parents aren't saying the right thing. You have to take things from people and tell them thank you. So that kind of got a little girl a little bit confused, right? Okay, let's go back to the motel. So when they got back home, the little girl was so pissed, and the nanny was like yelling at the little girl that she doesn't like girls that are kids that are stubborn, that kids that would not listen to her. And the little girl was like, well, I'm not stubborn, it's just that you're supposed to pick me up from school and bring me home. So for some reason, then the lady was like, I've told you several times to call me, that's Miss Toyin. I've told you several times to call me mom, and you would not. And the little girl was like, I have only one mother, I cannot call you mom. So for some reason, they got into all this heated argument. While that was going on, the dad of the little girl stopped by to pick up something from home and overheard them having an, heated argument. So the dad was like, hey, what happened? So the nanny would not let the little girl speak, and she just went off and said whatever she wanted to say to the parent. So the parents looking at the daughter, observing like the dad, like, your daughter, this is not how she looked. The daughter was all sad, like she could tell this is not usually how the daughter is. So the father discharged the nanny. I was like, okay, yeah, thank you. I'm not going to be going back to work and back. And we're like, oh, but that's early. He was like, yeah, I know. I'm just going to stay back and take over from here. Thank you so much. So the nanny left. So when the mom came back, during their dinner time while they were eating, the little girl started telling the parents, of course, started talking about their days. The mom went first, the dad went first, and then they asked the little girl, and the little girl went out and disclosed to the parents that the nanny took her to a motel and everything that has been going on. So, yeah, so the bottom line is the girl, because of the communication the little girl does have with her parents all the times, that was how the parents were able to find out what was going on with this child. And that helped stop any I know that would have come after that. Because immediately after the girl said that, and after that day, the parents told the babysitter, no, we're done. And the mother decided to start calling off work until she was able to figure out something for her child. So it is always good as a parent, please, please, please. I understand we're very busy people. We need to put food on the table for the kids. We need to pay our bills. But no matter how busy we are, please, as a parent, always make out that time to have discussion with your children. On daily basis, ask them questions. Let them tell you things. Even if it is out of point, just listen. Listen to them. Take whatever they say. You analyze it as a parent. Analyze it and be able to give them better advice after that, or help prevent any future crime, any future regrets. All right? So thank you. I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you've learned that communication is the key. Having good communication and good rapport with your kids